All right, let's talk about something that pretty much all of us have been through, but nobody really wants to admit. You know that moment when a perfect, special evening suddenly takes a very awkward turn? Just picture it. You've set up the perfect romantic night. The vibe is just right, everything is going according to plan, and then, right at that peak moment, your body decides it has something to add. So why? Why does this happen? Well, believe it or not, there is a completely scientific reason for it. So, to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to start by looking at what we think of as the perfect plan. And it's a script that, let's be honest, we all know by heart. I mean, you know the recipe, right? It almost always kicks off with a great meal, maybe a big steak or some rich, creamy pasta. Then, of course, you've got the celebratory drinks, a little champagne, a couple of cocktails, to loosen up and get in the mood. It's all designed to lead up to that perfect romantic finale. But here's the thing. That perfect plan, it's got a secret side effect. Let's dive into how that perfect recipe for romance is also the perfect recipe for a very specific and totally natural physical reaction.
Yeah, it turns out those fancy celebration meals are basically designed to work against us. You take delicious, high-protein and high-fat foods, and then you wash them down with alcohol or something fizzy, and what you've just created is the perfect storm for gas production in your gut. It's not personal, it's just science.
I absolutely love how one source described it. Your body is basically stockpiling in advance. So think about that. Way before you've even left the restaurant, the stage is already set. Your body is all loaded up and ready for a performance of its own. Okay, so the biological trap has been set. Now we're going to move from biology to some really simple, totally unavoidable physics to see what happens next. The real star of the show here is something called abdominal pressure. And you create this all the time without even thinking about it. Anytime you laugh really hard, or you cough, or you do a sit-up, you're tightening your core muscles, and that increases the pressure inside your abdomen. So it kind of goes without saying that during intimate moments, your body is moving. Your muscles are tensing and relaxing. All of this is causing that internal pressure to go up and down. It's a completely normal, natural part of the whole experience. So here it is. This is the key. When that internal pressure goes up, it physically squeezes everything inside, including all that gas you stockpiled at dinner. And, well, that gas has really only one way to get out. This is so important. This is not a personal failure. It is not a lack of control. It is literally just a law of physics, a simple mechanical cause and effect. And this whole thing just perfectly highlights the enormous gap between the fantasy romance we see in movies and the actual reality of having one of these amazing, functioning human bodies. I mean, think about it. In the movies, everything is flawless, right? Nobody has a digestive system, there are no weird smells, and there are definitely no awkward bodily interruptions. But our bodies, they're honest. They digest food, they make gas, and they react authentically to physical forces. The embarrassment we feel isn't from the event itself. It's from that collision of fantasy and reality. Okay, so we know it's just biology and physics. We get it. But what does a moment like that actually mean? What does it say about your relationship? Let's be crystal clear about what it does not mean. It does not mean the romance is dead. It absolutely does not mean your partner isn't interested or doesn't care. And it for sure doesn't mean there's some kind of deep problem with your intimacy. In fact, if you really stop and think about it, this kind of thing is most likely to happen when you are completely and totally relaxed with someone, when you're not tensing up, when you feel safe, when the connection is real. So in a strange way, you could almost see it as a sign of true comfort and authenticity. And that really brings us to the final, most important takeaway here. Real, mature intimacy is not about trying to create some perfect, flawless, movie-like experience where our bodies don't exist. It's all about what happens when reality shows up. It's about being able to laugh, to acknowledge the silly, human moment, and then just move past it. Together. That's a connection that's way stronger than a simple law of physics.